Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. I feel like I haven't streamed in like forever. Ah, know what I'm saying? I feel like I haven't been on this thing for a while. You know what I mean? But y'all see what it is, man. It's Black Files, episode 15. All right, we 15 in. Now, when we get to 20, we're going to do something special for y'all, man. We're going to do something that's just out of this world as always. But before we get started, know what I mean? Number one shout out to Miss Oshun. Now, Miss Oshun, what's going on?
Nothing much.
All right, all right, all right. Got to give a quick pause for the pause for the homie Dark Lake Revive. Dark Lake, what's going on? What's going on? You know, M3 checked in. M3 was good. What's good? Also, salute to my man Chicago Really said, hey. Yes, it's the big you know what I'm saying? But, you know, there's no need to be afraid, or is there? Okay? This is the Black Files episode 15. In this, we're going to cover, okay, is the firmament real? Okay? And kind of the flat earth theory as well. So it's a combination of things, the flat earth theory and the firmament. Okay, so we're going to cover that today. I got some videos I'm going to pop up. You know what I mean? But before I even get into that, Miss Oshun, what do you think about this whole firmament flat earth theory? What's going on? Talk to me.
Okay, I'll say this first. I haven't studied the theories of flat earth. I've only understood that some people believe that the earth is flat and there's no other information about other planets being quote unquote flat, while the sun isn't flat, or the moon isn't flat. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know as an artist, I am studied in, fine art. So when I look at, for instance, the moon, when I look at the cast of the shadow of the moon on the earth, like during a eclipse, it's clear that earth is round, or roundish. It's clear that it's not flat. It's very clear. As we never see a line. I don't know, but I would really like to understand where this is coming from and or going. And in reference to the firmament, I would really like to understand how they're merging those two concepts together. Because as you know, the word firmament is an English word, and the first language wasn't English, and English is a very limited language, very limited, while at the same time very expansive in terms of new words for new things. So there's a big divide there linguistically. So I'm just interested in understanding where the connection is and maybe flushing that out. Because I will admit when I don't know a thing, but I'm willing to learn.
Okay. Seems like we got somebody, we got some more people that checked in, Salute to my man Ilkhan Ali. You know what I mean? He's showing love to everybody on the panel, especially Lola. You know what I mean? Now, Ali, look, this is a Black Files show, you know what I mean? I do allow freedom on my panel, so if you do come out, you want to talk, you talk, you know what I'm saying? But remember, this is Black Files, though, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But like I said, we welcome all people here. Salute to my man Smitty. And Smitty's corner, he says salute to you too, bro. You know what I'm saying? So hold on. So do you think that possibly the pyramids can kind of be? Do you think it's kind of hinting to the shape of the Earth? You know what I mean? Or is the pyramid something entirely different? And that's going to kind of be. Pyramids are going to kind of be talked about a little bit tonight too. But go
ahead. Okay. In my opinion, based on what I know, I do not believe that the mathematical equation that the pyramids are built based upon is an accident, and it just so happens to be in alignment with the Earth being round, or let's say a sphere, right? I don't believe that's by accident. So I do believe that many, many, many eons ago, society was more evolved than what it is today. And of course, catastrophes happen and life starts over again and evolves again. And so here we are. But again, I don't know how the pyramids fit into the flat earth theory. But I can say it does fit into the narrative of Earth being a sphere, based on some of the works I have read and kind of went through in a basic way. I'm not saying that I've studied all of the different disciplines that study that, but from what I've seen overall, yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. I think I think the pyramids are one of those things where we kind of don't really fully understand what it is. You know what I'm saying? I think we have kind of like a limited understanding of it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think we fully know what it is. So it's kind of something that we see, and is actually, they actually are kind of mapped out throughout the world. But I think in it being mapped out throughout the world, it kind of doesn't really give us a full picture of what it's mapping to, right? So it's more or less like I'm drawing something, right? Or I'm kind of. You ever see one of the graphs where they're trying to get you to go from one point to another point, and then you go from different points, and all of a sudden you see, and then you kind of. It's kind of like you draw something, right? And you're drawing it, and you're going from point A to point B to point C, right? As you're going through these points, you know what I'm saying? You're realizing that, okay, I'm sketching this, and then as you sketch it, you know what I mean? It draws a map, right? So I believe the pyramids are essentially a map. I don't think that they're necessarily anything more than that. And maybe they can be a life source, anything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But I believe essentially they are a map. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, you know what I mean? I think that's what they essentially are. And I think we kind of just need to follow the map. And from there, we'll kind of get an understanding of what it is.
I can agree to that. I can definitely tell you, as having been to the pyramid itself, that whatever it is, it wasn't meant for people to be up inside of it. I can tell you that.
You think it's more or less kind of like a tomb or something of that nature? Salute to my man Wally. Good to see you, Wally. Good to see you. Also, got to give a shout out to the guest that pulled up, Simon. Simon, what's good? Can you hear me? Simon.
Yo.
Okay, that's him. There you go. So, what do you think about what we're sharing so far, Simon? Do you have anything you need to say?
Yeah, the pyramids. We gotta go. Well, I don't know. That conversation goes way back. How was the pyramids built? We're talking about slavery on a different level. And to be fair, our understanding of like real life in this day and age was not that in that day and age. Like, for instance, the people that ruled the countries, the people that ruled Egypt, they had a certain type of understanding amongst each other. So that's how Cleopatra came around. Well, Cleopatra couldn't become queen because there was no queen. Like, she had her brother, and she had to align with him in order to become part of the kingdom, to be able to rule Egypt. And that was the lineage and the legacy that we speak about. But we don't really want to comprehend things like that anymore. We want to go, okay, it's one man, one woman. No, that's not how things worked. We cooperated with each other. The whole point is about cooperation. So how the pyramids got built was on a premise that I have my section, you have your section. This is day-to-day 2023 talk. I have my section, you have your section. When we're talking about, like, 1719, it wasn't about that. It was about, I'm the king, you're the predecessor. You're the person that's gonna build what I tell you to build. So you're gonna build my pyramid. I have this scheme. This is the plan. So slavery wasn't a thought process that was built around, we're gonna enslave people. It was built around the fact that I have more premise over you. Like, that's just how it is. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, you're gonna learn, because you're gonna be put in that category where you then become another slave. But we turn around, we started to categorize it in a totally different type of way, where we try to personalize it based on the fact that it affected our kin. Now it's affecting us, right? No, this has been going on from day one, before you were born, before your grandmother was born, before your father, your mother. Okay, this is not something. You may be confused. I'm telling you, I could qualify all this shit. But yeah, I'm gonna stop for a sec. Shout out to Mr. Best in the world, Mr. Best.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. You know what I mean? Salute to my man Smitty. You know what I mean? Thank you for coming up. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think about the whole, so we building on the whole flat earth theory, aka the firmament, and also the pyramids as well. So I'm gonna get into some videos or whatever about it. But what do you think about the earth being flat? You know what I mean? Or it'd be surrounded by ice and being flat. And we was also kind of building on the pyramids a little bit too. What do you think about that, bro?
That's ridiculous. Period.
Okay.
I can give you one example and then go ahead and play your video and I'll tap in. I want to listen to it. So I can tell you this much. We know that the world is spherical, is because this one thing I can tell you, because if Earth was flat, night and day would be like that. See, there's a gradual shift from dawn to dusk because of the rotation. If the Earth was flat, more than likely the entire planet will be sun at the same time and night at the same time, because it's flat. So the sun would just smack on it. For the simple fact that we know that in certain parts of the country, like where I am, it's night, but there are certain places where it's daylight. Why is that? I mean, so I'll just leave it at that for right now. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out with your video.
Yo, Smitty. That's a basic premise. Like, there's 24 hours in the hemisphere. Okay, so when the Earth turns, we have light on one area of the world, and then when the world turns, we have light on the other side of the world. I mean, that's practicality. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but it's practicality.
Did you say rotate? Did you say turn?
Yeah, the Earth rotates.
Okay, I don't like, so what turns? What is spherical? What is flat would probably not be turning. It would just be rotating, but it would be stiff. See, the reason why you said round, turning, is because that's you recognizing the spherical shape of planet Earth. Not to mention, if you just go outside on a sunny day, no bull, and just like lay back and look up, you can see the roundness. You can actually see it if you take time to cloud gaze, as I do at times. But I mean, I'm just going to say I definitely know from proof of how the world is designed, even down to how planes travel. Planes do not go from one place in a straight trajectory. It's a curve. Their whole setup from when they're going from one place to another, it's like it kind of hooks. It's
Yo,
not straight. You wouldn't just go straight somewhere because
Smitty,
you're going to be off on your landing.
yo, Smitty, I appreciate you, bro. But have you
Appreciate you too, sir.
ever flown a plane?
No, no.
Okay, so what you're talking on
Mhm.
is that's kind of like someone that's just looked some stuff up on Google. I've been in a plane. I know how to drive a plane. Okay,
Okay.
it don't work like what you
I'll
just
get at
said.
you later.
I'm just
I
saying.
know.
Okay, and I appreciate where you're coming from, but it's just it don't work like that. The mathematics and equations that's come before us that's allowed us to have the understanding to fly a plane does not degenerate us to going, okay, this is what it is. Okay, just
Sam, can I ask you a question on that then, since you know how to fly a plane?
mhm.
Okay, so when I left the United States on my way to the Middle East, I thought that they were going to take the straight path from the Washington D.C. Straight over the Atlantic Ocean, straight over through Morocco, straight to Egypt, like a straight line, right? But instead, I seen the path, and they didn't go straight. They went all the way up and around, and kind of like all the way up north, then came down. And when I asked someone, why are we taking that path? They said because of the curvature of the earth and how the earth is turning underneath of us, in which that was the shortest path, even though it looked like the longest path. Now, my question to you is, if earth is flat, right, why would someone take a different path outside of a straight path?
I'll say to you with all respect, Miss O'Shawn, the question you're asking is based on a military operation, which has nothing to do with what somebody would do if they were actually being a civilian. It's a complete different thing. So, like, I understand where you're coming from, but the action was based on something that was political. It's nothing to do with an ideology that we may have as smart people.
No, well, Simon, I didn't ask you that. I just said, why is it that the path is not straight versus curved if the earth was flat? So I gave you a premise. If the earth is flat, why are we taking curved points versus going in a straight line? The shortest point is between 2 points is a straight line. However, when people are in the air, and I've been in a plane, okay, and I've traveled over half of the globe, I'm asking you, why are curved paths taken versus straight lines, which is what Smitty spoke to, and you said that was basic. So I'm asking you a basic question: why are curves taken versus straight lines?
I appreciate that. Most people take planes, okay? So I see where you're coming from, but have you actually been in a boat and actually sort of gone from country to country, like on a 12-hour trip?
You're asking me, have I been in a boat?
A boat, yeah, a boat, not a plane.
Okay, Simon, you made a statement to Smithy, and I'm asking for clarity on it, and now you're moving the goalposts, and honestly, not tonight. Okay.
No, okay. I was getting to what you was speaking about, but if you don't want to, that's cool. I'm not trying to push it.
Okay, y'all. Look, so I'm gonna play my first video, right? You know what I'm saying? And then after that, I'm gonna play the second one. Now, y'all know I got to pause in between because you know the whole YouTube regulations and all that. Shout out to Miss Nebraska, okay? Shout out to my man Big Rick Slaps. He checked in the building. Also, shout out to my man BK Apologist. I know he came through as well. Let me find him. You know what I mean? He had a lot to say. He says, Pharaoh traveled to the afterlife. They believe they could take their possessions with them. So rulers were buried inside the pyramids were items they intend to take with them into the next life. You know what I mean? I gave him a factoid on that for real. Also, salute to OG Patrice. Thanks for coming through, OG Patrice. Salute. All right. Know what I mean? Bringing my man Big Rick Slaps to the building up in here. Big Rick, what's good, man? Know what I mean? We building on the flat earth thing. Also, the pyramid thing as well. I know you've been kind of listening. So what you think? Is the earth flat? Is it round? What you think, bro? A salute to you.
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, my bad, bro. Because when I came on, you was already talking, so I couldn't really get what you was. I didn't catch what you said. I really like this topic, dog, because a few years ago, I got really into the whole flat Earth thing and the round Earth thing, and kind of like what Lola was saying about the flight patterns. That shit kind of tripped me out because when you look at it, it looks like, well, why don't they just fly across this way? Why is it going up and all this diagonal and all this, which was pretty wild. But I never heard the spinning, how she said that. I never heard that used, you know what I'm saying, and trying to defy that reason why they do it, which that kind of blows my mind a little bit. But I think, the thing that gets to me with the whole flat earth people is I was trying to feel them and trying to get their concept, but the things that they dispute, it's just like they don't even dispute it well. Like they have a thing against gravity. Everything is a certain lens. I can't remember the name of the lens that they say, but everything that we see is from a certain lens, so it makes things look like circular or whatever. And then also how, all the images that we see are just basically fake and everything like that. And that's cool. But the thing that always got to me was, and I heard a flat earther kind of dispute this, which was pretty dope. But, when we look at the moon and everything like that, it's a circle, bro. When we look at the sun and, from what we see, the image of the sun, it's circular. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say a complete circular, however you want to put it. I don't want to, be politically correct, but it's like in a circle. But what the flat earther said was, okay, well, you can say that, right? But we don't know what's on the other side of the moon. We don't know how it's shaped on the other side. And I was like, holy shit, there was a cold dude with that one. But again, I think
we don't know what the sun looks like.
I'm just saying but you could see the sun, bro. And I'm just saying when you see it, it has a circular shape. So
according to who?
According to your eyes.
Telescopes. We've had them a long time.
But let me continue though, because Simon, you be off the hook sometimes. But so that kind of tripped me out. But what Lola said though, with the whole flying pattern and everything, so just there was too many things that led up to it being circular. They spoke on, well, if it was spinning or whatnot, why isn't the water falling off and all this type of stuff? Well, that has to do with gravity. When they showed the guy and I always brought this up, when they showed the guy do the space jump, he did it for Red Bull. You could see it on YouTube. I don't know exactly how high he got, but he got high enough to where you can damn near float, right? But there was still gravity, but you could see the earth. And when he jumped out of that capsule that he was in, built by Red Bull, they timed his fall. You know what I'm saying? It was supposed to be the world's longest jump, and the dude picked up hella speed, all kind of shit, bro. And you see the earth is being in a circular type of shape. You know what I'm saying? So when they say that it's flat or whatever, it's just hard to it's kind of hard to take that in, bro. And then the only thing that fucks me up with the earth, and I still kind of have a problem with it to this day, is just the speed that we're supposedly spinning at. You know what I'm saying? Like that throws me, because, flying and everything like that, I would think that, that would have something to do with it. But then somebody said, well, hey, when you drive a car, you can be doing 150 miles per hour. You don't feel that shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you outside the car doing 150, you're going to feel all the wind, all the, everything with it. But if you're part of, you know, if you're inside the car, that's kind of how they said the Earth is. You know what I mean? So we're part of it. You feel me? So that was just like, damn, bro. So everything can be disputed, but just the speed of the Earth, how we're spinning, that always kind of threw me a little bit. But I think it's round, bro. You know, I think everything kind of shows that it to be round, and I'm still waiting to see a flat earther, you know, have a little bit more better proof that it's flat, bro.
1,500 kilometers per second is what we're spending.
Right. You know, that's fast, bro. That's fast, man. And even when they take off out of, you know, orbit, however you put it, you know what I'm saying? You still don't see that fucking thing spinning that fucking fast. You know what I'm saying?
But if we think about it like this, right? Even down to another example would be the compass. It's a reason why sometimes you're facing north, sometimes you're not. And the compass, because what is it doing? It's gravitating with this spin. If the Earth was flat and we weren't spinning or whatever, then north would be north, south would be south, east would be east. That would never change. But the fact is, with the compass, depending on where you're standing and everything else, it's going to shift.
Really?
So, I mean, we have a lot of examples that's like right in our face that really do tell us that. But, you know, teach us on.
Yo, could we stick with the compass? Like, really? Is that what you're saying? Yo, Smitty. Yo.
That's exactly what I just said. I said clear as day in American English.
Do you know how a compass works?
A compass.
Do you know how a compass works?
Hold on. We're not getting into all that. Look, I'm about to share this video. All right, mute up everybody. Everybody mute up. Okay. You know what I mean? Definitely smash the like button. You know, show that love and support. Definitely appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you care to. I appreciate that as well. You know what I mean? And I'm intellectual soapboxes, man. Here we go. We about to go on a journey right now. All right, let's get it.
I'd never seen anything like it before or since, and that's unusual because I've always had an interest in scientific things. I think that's even why I got selected to go to Antarctica, because a big part of the interview was about science and what I believed about things. So I really thought it was cool to see something I'd never heard of before. The whole time I was at McMurdo, I heard people talking about the wall, like that was a special place. It's pretty common to find ice walls and ice cliffs all over Antarctica. The whole place is ice, but it's all just normal white or clear ice. So I asked my friend where they get the sky ice from, and he said it comes from the wall. I don't remember exactly how he described it, but apparently there's a huge wall of sky ice in Antarctica. He said that it was hundreds of miles inland from the coast. I never got to see it myself because I was only, skip forward, stationed to McMurdo. I didn't get to go out on expeditions. He said it was the biggest natural structure in the world. Imagine that. He said that in the 1960s, the U.S. Army had a plan to bore a tunnel into the wall, but they didn't have a boring machine that could handle the super cold temperatures, so they had a whole testing project in Greenland where they developed ice tunnels and invented new boring machines that could operate in super cold temperatures. So this was back when they were going into forming NASA and all the other things that were kind of strange, the Antarctic Treaty, around that time, pretty close to it. And he says, like they did this whole big thing in Greenland for just practice. So it's like they were practicing to bore into the sky ice. I'm not an expert on that, but that's just what he told me. Then once they had the new boring machine figured out, they brought it to the ice wall, or to the wall in Antarctica. He said that the machine bored a tunnel. I don't remember exactly, it was like 5 or 10 miles into the wall, but that they never broke through the other side of the wall, and that they still don't know how thick the wall is even to this day. and I'm probably not remembering this part correctly, but I think he said that at first the floor of the tunnel was solid rock, but after a mile or two in, the floor was sky ice, like it was sky ice underneath after a certain point, or something like that, and apparently the wall slowly builds itself back up. So it slowly builds itself back up after you cut it, because after a year or so, the tunnel had shrunk smaller all by itself, like a self-healing wound. It starts closing up. They had to leave the boring machine inside the wall because the tunnel shrunk too small to get it back out. And after a few decades, the tunnel was completely gone. Like part of the wall was solid again. He said that now the scientists were trying to use technology to figure out how thick the wall is. He said something about putting earthquake sensors all along the wall, and that somehow you could measure the signal from an earthquake to see how thick the wall is. But he kind of lost me on that part. I never really thought about any of that after I left. It was really weird stuff, but I didn't think it was a big deal at the time. But then a few weeks ago, I saw a map of the wall in Antarctica, except the map was all flat, crazy looking, and it showed the wall going all the way up over the whole Earth. So since then, I've been trying to learn more about the sky ice that I saw and the wall that I heard about, but I can't find anything at all. So now I'm really wondering if there could be a connection here. And that's how I found this group. So I hope that maybe some part of my experience will help someone figure something out. Well, thankful to that person. If they were telling the truth, that is some very interesting
Yo, why
information,
are you all silent,
given
bro?
what we know surrounds us. We know that the firmament's not just made out of ice. It's something special. That could just be something near the foundation to prevent you from going all the way to it. The Father's design is very complex.
Right. Facts.
And he has foreknowledge. He knows what mankind's going to try to do. Those little nuclear bombs they shot at the firmament was nothing to the firmament. They can't break it. They've tried. If they could, they would, but they can't.
Wow. Man, oh man. What y'all thinking so far?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I know that the only reason why certain factions, are interested in pouring money into boring a hole into like several miles of ice is because they think they can find something down there. Because truth be told, ice is ice. I mean, outer space is negative 500 degrees. Ice, when it meets water, cold when it meets water turns to ice, whether it's up in the sky or whether it's on the planet. That's what happens. So the fact that people are trying to, figure this out, it's like, listen, if you think you're going to discover something down there, go ahead. But like you said, after you go but so far, your machines break down because you don't have the technology to go that far into ice and keep it open for decades at a time. And my thing is, if you're watching a tunnel for over 10 years, that means you failed at that on that project. So, don't get me wrong. Thank goodness for some of our explorative people out here. But I think to a degree, yeah, I'm not that explorative. Whatever is down there, let it stay down there.
Whoa, hold on. So, Miss Oshun, are you saying that you don't want to, that you're backing away from this? You of all people?
No, I'm not saying I'm backing away. But what I'm saying is, I already know that if we don't have the technology to bore into a ice wall more than a mile deep, or maybe 2 miles deep, to try and go further, knowing what happens with the ice. It's gonna cave in on itself. That's a losing mission when we don't have the technology to combat that. We're not there yet. I just think there's better ways to spend funding than to be trying to bore into ice, of which we have no idea of what we're gonna find. Now, if you think you're gonna find some, crash, extraterrestrial, vehicle, or some new ice that tells us something we don't know about what the Earth was like 1.7 billion years ago, okay, fine. But I mean, I'm not seeing the importance of such a project.
Okay. Salute the Lady Phoenix. I see that she's in the check-in. Okay. Brothers, what y'all think, man? Smitty, Big Rick Slash, what y'all thinking?
So I'm gonna just go ahead and get to it. You all can have your conclusions from there. Fact is this: we are only capable, like Sister Ocean was saying, right? We're only capable of going up so far and down so far, right? With all our technology, we still barely know what's in the ocean, like 2.3% something. So my point is that, look, this is what happens, like the flat earthers and all of this stuff. These are people who keep trying to find all the answers. And the fact is that our loving Creator has made it so we are not to. There are just going to be some things we just don't know. Period. And it was designed that way. We were not created like to have all the answers, to know everything. That is only for the loving Creator. We can learn things, but I promise you, we only have fragments and little teeny shards of it, little grains of sand of what truly is to be known. And unfortunately, when you get people saying like, oh, it's a wall and the earth is flat and all this other stuff, I promise you, those generally are the people who also deny God, right? So one thing that I do know is that I do ask God questions, but I never question God, right? So the fact is that, we all know our loving Creator works in mysterious ways. We say that, and then we turn around and try to figure out everything. It's not for us to figure out everything. It's for us to figure out enough and some to be able to build, grow, and sustain humanity. But we are not to have all the answers. That's why we can't drill to the core of the earth. That's why we can't travel planets away in ships. That's why we can't even hit the goddamn bottom of the ocean. Right? So, I'm just going to leave it at that. I think people need to remember that there are some things that forever shall be, and it's supposed to be a mystery, because it's always supposed to have you. That's how you stay in remembrance of God. See, if you have all the answers, then what is there to pray for? What's the need for our loving Creator if you know everything? See, the reason why it was designed that way is so that we always have a need for God. But unfortunately, you have a lot of people that try to fight against them. Now, the original Titans, those were basically those who transgressed against God. Those were those who literally tried to fight against or try to be smarter than and act as if they're God. So, as long as man keep on trying to seek all the answers, I promise you're always going to have what I consider the Tower of Babel, because it's a bunch of babbling going on. And we all know how that worked out in the end of it. So I'll leave it at that. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
Hold on, Smitty. Hold on. Wait. Who are the Titans? Who are these people?
The Titans were those. It's like back in like Greek, I believe, mythology and things. The Titans were those who fought against God. They literally fought against God. So, when we try to like it's a reason why there is nothing we can build that can stop the strongest tsunami. It's nothing. You just have to run, and you just have to hope you don't get swallowed in it. All this time, even in 2023, we don't have nothing that can stop that. We don't have nothing that can stop the strongest hurricane. We have nothing that can stop stop a forest fire. What do? We just kind of let it burn out. See, there are certain things that are put into place to remind us that we're not in control. That's all. I'm just one who stays in remembrance. I will never let that die. I will die with that. I digress. My mic is muted.
Ooh. Okay. Miss Oshun, yeah, I see you unmuted. I'm gonna get you in a second. I gotta get my man Big Rick Slap. Big Rick, what's good, man? What you thought about what you've seen and what you're thinking right now? Big Rick, you there? Waiting for him to come up. All right, Miss Oshun, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think Smitty is 100% on target. Yeah, there's certain things because of the physicality of it that we are not meant to know. It doesn't mean that we can't. You see what I'm saying? Still live, But it's like we don't need to know everything. It doesn't. Some things just don't matter, right? It's like we have the ability to ask a lot of questions, which is great. However, answers aren't owed to us because we can ask a question. That's not how it works. And when it comes to just the sheer greatness of nature, yeah, at some point we have to be humble about the fact that we don't control that. And at some point we have to respect nature and basically sit out somewhere and worry about other things that might be more important. Like Smitty said, we travel the ocean, and yet we only know up to maybe 3 to 5% on a good day about it. Like, come on, what I mean? I just think there's so much else out here, but it's like even with the ocean, there's questions that I've asked, right? Like, how did this planet get water? People are theorizing what is water? Where does it come from, right? Nobody really knows. But here's the thing. What's more important? Where did water come from? Or how can we keep fresh water on this planet while we're losing it at 1% right now? I'm just saying.
Okay. I see you. I hear you. Big Rick Slaps, I see you back in the building. Salute to my man Victor Freeze Music. Know what I mean? I seen him up in here too as well. Big Riggs, what's good, man? What you think about what you seen or what you heard? We got a few more videos that's about to really take us to a whole different area. About to get real deep in this conversation. Go ahead, Big Riggs.
I don't know, too much about all of that, but I do know that
I think his sound went out. His sound did go out. Can y'all hear him?
No, I can't hear him. Yeah, he went out. He said a few words and it went out.
Yeah, really, your sound went out, bro. Yeah, we're not able to hear you. Okay.
Get to the video, and if you get back on, get back soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop him down, and then he'll come back up. Yeah, let me get to this next video. So let me throw my fair use banner up. Here we go.
Science shows us that Antarctica is many things: extremely cold, extremely vast, and a wholly unique environment in our world. But there are some who claim that there's more to it than that. And the true nature of Antarctica is now a major part of modern flat Earth conspiracy theories. Another key point of interest for flat earthers is the 1961 Antarctic Treaty, which it's claimed stops anybody from ever going to the South Pole. The Antarctic Treaty marks off territories that shouldn't be used for military purposes then, but it also specifically prioritizes the preservation of Antarctica's unique ecosystem. It bans military activity there, yes, but not scientific activity. We so far have no evidence that there really is a wall like this out there, not unless we decide to ignore the entirety of Antarctic history until this point and deny all images of Earth from space that clearly show Antarctica and the curvature of the Earth.
Wow, what y'all thinking so far, family?
Yeah, you just gotta remember, bro. Like, listen, you have a lot of people who are like, and what's that, Scientology and all of that. Bro, you got people, I don't care, they can sound real smart and everything. We have basic information around us that clear as day, even down to when they say the stars are aligned. That is because of what is in rotation. Now, when it comes to like the whole Antarctica thing, like, you just got to remember, bro, you're going to have people that's going to try their best to think of any way to prove their point. Now, I mean, they'll have some people, right? They have some people that sound real intelligent, they're certified and everything else. But the fact is that you have people that do everything they can to use science to try to prove as far as like how God isn't real. Now, take the countries. The fact is that some countries are on top, some are below. I know we always, if you're old enough, you remember even back to like Bugs Bunny, he would drill down and he always pop down in the bottom and he'd be right there where in China. Like, there's no way for this earth to be flat and for the countries to be how they are. Like, even when what's that, Pandora? No, what was the name of the first, when everything was together, right?
Pangea.
So, Pangea, right? And so the tectonic plates, when they shift, they don't shift and go straight out. They shift and they go like that. They go like around. They don't, it's not like just a straight break. It's not. And so, I mean, it's too many things that is right in front of our face. So, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just being, look, it's your show. I mean, I'm not really entertaining that in my mind too much. Like, I know it's true, and you're going to, and listen, I promise you, like, deception will come in many forms and it will sometimes sound very, very smooth and cunning, but you just have to have what's called discernment. And that's what I'm using right now. So just keep on playing the videos and, I'll just listen to it and, we'll go ahead and rock out from there. But I know what truth is, bro.
Okay. I like how Smitty put that. You know what I mean? I'm letting the videos rock out. And I'm not sharing what I need to say yet because I'm just trying to get through. I got one more video, and then we're gonna really dig into this for real. Miss O'Shea, what you got to say?
I agree with Smitty. Like, at some point I have to say that this is beyond entertainment with the whole flat Earth situation. Yeah. I mean, I just have to say, like, listen, I'm not going to allow myself to be, let's say, pulled into but so much entertainment, right? Because then it starts to become delusional. Right now, when I take the initiative to call Korea to speak with, the Master Lee of the dojo, right? If I call him right now, it's like broad daylight outside, and you can hear people bustling and all of that in the background. And here is pitch black, and everyone's asleep. So my thing is, like Smitty said, it's like, okay, I'm not going to keep questioning what I know for a fact because some people feel the need to push a narrative because it's quote unquote different, and they want to basically fight the power. At some point I'm not going to entertain it, but to a degree I will listen. I will listen. And I think Antarctica being at the crux of this argument, because it's such a vast, landmass. It's like, okay, well, let's look at that. Okay, like seriously, let's look at that. I don't mind looking at the facts, but the truth is, we're not getting around the main issue, which is the major problems with this argument or this theory that has so many holes in it. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I don't want to get too far into it, other than if they're really serious about proving their point, they'll do what everyone else has done since the beginning of science, which is using a methodology that others can test to come to that same conclusion. If they're not willing to do that, then I don't know what else to tell them as far as basically spreading their message.
It's nothing more than a hypothesis.
Yeah. Leave it there.
Okay, Lola. Okay, you got a little different tone tonight, Lola. You ain't on your conspiracy thing tonight. Okay, all right.
Oh my God, no. Here's the thing. It's not that I'm not. It's just that I know for a fact that with that group of people, they've made it religious, and I already know the mindset of someone who makes something like that religious. And it's like, I already know to tread carefully, because I'm not dealing with your regular set of people. So I tread carefully. Listen, I give them what I give them, but that's about it.
Okay. All right, this is our last video, y'all. Let's get into it. All right, and this is about the homie Buzz Aldrin and when he went to the South Pole. And yeah, what was his experience like? Let's get it.
What an icon. We traveled to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida to talk to Buzz about his historic trip to the South Pole, the health scare that forced him to be evacuated, and the loss of his friend and colleague, John Glenn.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
July 20th, 1969. Buzz Aldrin, along with the late Neil Armstrong, become instant American icons as the first humans to step foot on the moon.
We feel that this stands as a symbol of the insatiable curiosity of all mankind to explore the unknown.
Now, nearly half a century later, Aldrin is still trying to satisfy his own curiosity. Earlier this month, the 86-year-old attempting to cross an item off his bucket list, venturing to the South Pole. However, a health scare would force him to cut the trip short.
We get the news that you have to be with. What weapon?
It's a little more concentrated. It's cold. You got a lot of heavy stuff and not much air to breathe up there.
At an elevation of 9,000 feet, Aldrin begins showing signs of altitude sickness. He's evacuated from the scientific research station and taken to a hospital in New Zealand, where he spends a week recovering from congestion in his lungs.
Were you worried at all? Did you think maybe I shouldn't have come on this trip?
When turning back is about as difficult as pressing on, you press on because you got an objective, especially when they tell me that I just set a record. The oldest guy to the South Pole. See, now it was worth it, really.
While he was hospitalized, Aldrin learned of the passing of his friend and fellow astronaut, John.
Okay, so that was part one of his experience. He had another experience which I'm gonna get into right now, right? That he kind of didn't even touch on too much, right? And maybe he was afraid to touch on these things, right? So let me get to that real quick. Hold on.
Buzz Aldrin went to Antarctica. There's this theory out there that there is, in fact, the world's largest pyramid in Antarctica.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's satellite images to where it's so equal on the four sides. So supposedly that's what Buzz Aldrin.
Oh no!
Stop! Everyone stop! Stop! I heard it. While he was there, he had a heart attack and he had to be airlifted out. Oh, and then this is the tweet on his way back. He said, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself."
That's legitimate?
No. Oh,
Yes.
that's AI.
That's what he tweeted, Lil.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
I love it, like the fact
Buzz Aldrin tweeted, "We are all in grave danger. It is evil itself."
That's so scary.
And it could, in fact, be AI because of the lack of research I did. Buzz Aldrin went.
Now, why did Buzz Aldrin leave out that detail? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe he left the detail out because it's classified information. Maybe he left it out because it ain't real. Maybe he left it out because it's not important. Maybe he left it out because it's just his opinion and it really doesn't matter. Why he left it out, I know one damn thing. Evil. There's more evil floating around the inner city than it is in any place in Antarctica. I don't know what they talking about.
Smitty, go ahead, brother.
So you got to remember the nature of man. So the nature of man is whatever man does not understand, man demonizes. So, that's that part. Two, that was shown on a public news station, so that automatically gets 3 points off with me with credibility immediately. All right. So then on top of that, when it says he had to turn around, that is just once again out. If you look at it strictly physical, then you'll be like, oh, he's old, condition, weather, whatever. All right. Now, if you add in spiritual with it as a believer, then once again, you are known. You know that, no, that is man once again trying to transgress boundaries. And that's just the problem. From that Ocean Gate, whatever, I don't know, all, you name it, just, all of the things that is taking place. The fact is, it's just simply man transgressing boundaries. It's just certain places and certain things that we're just not supposed to be. We're just not supposed to know, period. Like I said before. So him turning around, the physical, he's old and maybe weather and stuff like that. No, the spiritual is, sir, you are stepping into uncharted land for a reason. And you need to turn around. It's boundaries to this life. And the fact is that it's sad how man does not recognize that you're not supposed to transgress everything. Everything is not, it's no scientific answer and all this. No, you're just not supposed to transgress. Period. And so I think that's what these people going back and forth, because you all keep on going back and forth over something nobody is to have the answer of in the first place. So of course you're going to go back and forth continuously, all the way down to what is God's name and what does God look like and which religion is the best one. I digress. My mic is muted.
I like what y'all both said. Okay, now I'm gonna dig into this. Listen, I think there's so much more to this, Antarctica theory, this flat Earth theory, even what the homie Buzz seen up there, Mr. Aldridge, what he seen up there. I think, and I think there's a reason why he selectively left out certain things and how they just went to his friend that passed away. They immediately went to that, right? Your buddy passed away. Yeah, man, let's talk about that, right? You know what I mean? And, they didn't really cover his full experience, right? So you go to cover his full experience and then you just kind of just deviate towards something else because that gives you an out, right? You know what I'm saying? So you're speaking to the man, oh yeah, you did a thing in Antarctica. You never asked him what he really saw. You never asked him, you know what I mean? What he felt while he was up there. You never asked him, you know what I mean? Was there any footage or anything else that he taken or any footage that he hasn't really shared? You never asked him anything. He taking the picture. Nothing. There was no type of real concrete questions that was asked in that video. You know what I mean?
That's why I said soapbox. That's why I clearly said it's as soon as I saw Good Day, Good Morning America, whatever that was, I said, oh, nah, 3 points off out of 10. 3 points off immediately. Because it's the mainstream news media, bro. You're not going to get that. What are you talking about? These are the same people that'll sit there. I don't know why they do this. It's very weird. It's very weird what they do now. They'll tell you we have to let you know that the video you're about to see is very graphic, knowing damn well you're going to cut it off right before the shooting or the accident happens. You're not about to show anything. So why would you say it's graphic? See, they lie continuously. You just have to know how to have discernment and pick up on shit.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You know what I mean? But I like how the other crew, even though they was a little animated, I like how the other crew was like, hey, this is what this man tweeted. You know what I'm saying? Now listen, if you have a social media account, unless somebody is your handler on your social media account, which I don't believe Mr. Aldridge has a handler. At least I don't think he does. I mean, he posts probably what he wants to post. He seems like a man that would actually just post whatever he wants to, right? So they're like, nah, man, he tweeted it about him seeing the pyramid and how it was big on all sides, how it was he said we all in danger and all this other stuff. Like, I like how they fully covered it. Like I said, even though he was a little bit animated, I like how they fully covered it. And, they kind of exposed more of, he had a heart attack, because he just said he felt weak. He didn't even say he had a heart attack. He was like, oh, I felt weak up there. No, man, you had a heart attack. You know what I mean? Because people could look up your medical records and find out what's really going on. You had a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? You knew that you was up there, something wrong, and you did not tell the full story of what you was up there and why you was up there and what was going on when you went to Antarctica. You seen something that you don't really want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? And now that it's being exposed, and now that it's actually showing that there's more to the story and that you actually went through something, you actually had an illness, you actually seen something that was a little more graphic and detailed than you want to reveal, you know what I'm saying? Now it just makes people think more of the story. I'd rather him not even say anything at all. You know what I mean? I'd rather him say, you know what, I went up there, hey man, I'm just glad to be alive. You know what I mean? I had a little health scare, now I'm back. But just to kind of bait us in and then don't say anything, that was crazy. What do you think about that, Lola?
I think let me put my words together correctly. I think it's important that we listen to everyone, whether they're telling the truth or not, whether they know what they're talking about or not, because as you know, iron sharpens iron, and even if it's not iron, you feel me? Like, that's generally how I'm approaching this. If he went there and he found something that was true, and it was something that he was reluctant to share with the public, then okay, fine. He was reluctant to share some things that he experienced with the public. That happens. There's a lot more that happens on a daily basis that is not shared with the public. That's a bit more scary than some man in a remote place on the planet that sees something that they think is underneath of snow. If it was that important, I bet you dollars to donuts the U.S. Armed Forces would be there trying to claim it before the Russians. So, my thing is, let's not get ahead of ourselves. You see, and I'll be honest with you, there's a culture around making something out of nothing. Even if we're talking about real events, there's a culture around that. So, and that's the one thing I hate about, I guess, this space where you're talking about a serious topic and people delegitimize it, you know, with their shenanigans. Because at this point, like that site that you allowed us to play the video from, they're not helping. They're not helping spread the message. They're not part of the reason why, you know, Buzz would not share information is because of people like them. So, you know, this is an issue. I mean, but it's not a big issue because I'm okay with not knowing what's up there in that snow. Like I always say, we don't need to be waking up everything that's sleeping. You know, like not everything. I heard that there was an effort to bring back dinosaurs that used to live in the ocean. Do I really want megalodons swimming up and down, you know, Ocean City? No, I don't. This is what this is. No, I just don't. I don't like that. But I mean, I'm just saying we got bigger issues, and to a large degree, this can be classified as a distraction.
Well, sister, look, like, remember this part, right? Like, all right, so man has made many, many attempts. And even to this very moment, like, man has actually cloned life, right? But that life don't live long at all. Man has made many, many attempts to basically play God, and it just never works. And so you just have to know how to see like what's going on around us. Like, these are people that are just transgressing, and you know, I just leave them be. Let them do what they do. Whatever it is that they figure out is what they figure out, and what they don't, they're not supposed to. You know, because you explore, that don't mean that you're not going to learn anything. Oh yeah, you're going to learn a lot, especially like when you do like 10, 15 years of like, you know, studying something, you're going to learn things, but it's always still going to be answers. Like you said, them trying to clone the dinosaurs. Why can't they clone them? Specifically because of one reason. They cannot find any fossil that still contains valuable DNA. They're just missing DNA. That's all it is. But why is that? Because it's not supposed to be. Like you said, you're not supposed to have like megalodons and monosauruses and you know, in the ocean right now, because they would wipe out what we eat.
Right.
So it's a balance to everything. You know, too much water will flood the crops. Not enough makes the world a desert.
These are facts, and I do feel that we can be explorers and scientists in our own right without losing our heads about stuff. Because I think sometimes people in this fanatic mode will try to use just that fanatic energy to say, "Hey, look, let's spread awareness," when in fact, that's not, everything isn't supposed to be spread to the public. You know, there's certain things that shouldn't be told publicly for the public safety, and so on and so forth. But it's like, you know, that's why I never wanted to be understood to be someone that is just purely interested in exposing the government and exposing this and exposing that. It's like, I don't mind discovering new things. I don't mind, you know, figuring out, you know, what's what in terms of what's important. But sometimes I think people make this a religion, and that's where we're going really, really left with this, because it takes away from genuine research. You know, like really, really, yeah, it definitely takes away from genuine research, because now funds are being poured into projects that ultimately could hurt the planet. Like you said, they're trying to clone people, but the people don't live very long. So why are we still focused on that? Do we need to clone more people when the population is already outdoing itself in terms of resources on its own? Like, I'd rather talk about why governments are sinking money into clones, given the population issue we already have, than for me to talk about what's hidden in Antarctica. Even let's suppose it's something there, right? That's not our problem. It really isn't.
I'm really shocked by you tonight, Lola. I'm very shocked. I'm very shocked by you tonight. I'm very
There's
surprised.
sides to me for you to be shocked. You know that, Mr. Guy.
I am totally shocked by this. You of all people who challenge everything, you are conceding that the God of Israel created this firmament, right? So that we the people cannot know everything and that we can have boundaries. I am shocked at this. I am shocked. I am shocked. This is
No, that is not what I'm saying. See, there you go, trying to trigger me. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. Here's the thing. I wasn't there consciously in the beginning of the creation of this planet. I wasn't. So I can't speak on it. All I want to say is this. It's interesting to ponder on how it all came to be, right? But ultimately, what's more important is how it's going to end. Not so much how it came to be. So it's like, I know where genuine interest begins and where it ends. And to be clear, I don't believe that what happened in the Bible happened the way it happened. I do believe that fragmented stories are just that. However, I'm just not one that's gonna fight with so many ideas. Like I'll indulge in some ideas, but in other ideas I won't. Like there was me and Dark Lake did something a couple weeks ago in reference to Adam and his spouse and exploring a new theory about that story. And I found that highly interesting, more so than talking about, who's supposed to have eaten the apple first and who was wrong and who didn't do the thing right. Like that does not matter. Well, it might not have even happened for real, but what is of interest is what the story could possibly be telling us in a different way. So, this is where I'm at. I'm not your typical scientist. I'm really not. Don't get me wrong. I can go off on the deep end, but trust me, I got my parachute.
You definitely using your parachute tonight. You definitely using it tonight. You definitely are using it tonight. You playing this right down the middle. But hold on. You're playing this right down the middle. But listen. If you're not fully saying that Antarctica and the firmament was created, by God Almighty Himself, right? Then what are you actually saying? Or are you just saying that you don't know and you don't care to know?
No, I'm not saying that, right? Because truth be told, I'm not sure why ice is at the poles. I'm not sure why. It's probably a logical reason why. I'm not sure why, but I do understand that at some point, those places on the planet were not ice caps. They were lush forests. So if that's the case, maybe the poles used to be someplace else. And so we're kind of chasing our own tails with this. Maybe the ice isn't covering anything. Maybe it's just that's where the poles are at right now. When the poles change, Antarctica essentially will change. Like the location of it will change simply because of just the geographical location of the poles itself. So, I'm interested, but at the same time, I'm trying to keep a level head on whether or not it's worth the focus of the masses. And I have to say that maybe it's the way that they're framing information coming out of Antarctica. Now, I'll tell you what is interesting. Why the U.S. Army says, or let's say the U.S. Marines, whoever they got down there, the Navy, whoever, they're down there guarding Antarctica, right? Because they're saying that if they don't, people will come down there and lose their lives and be exploring and basically lose their life. Meanwhile, if you come too close, they will not arrest you. They will kill you. So my question is, are you there to keep people out and deter them because they're citizens that deserve to live? or are you there to protect something that's more precious than their lives? That's more interesting. Not necessarily what's under the ice, but why the army, the armed forces, are ready to kill on sight anyone that attempts to come across a certain point. That's what's more important. Because, like I said, the word firmament is an English word. That word means nothing in the original language that we are referring to subconsciously. It means literally nothing. So, what was meant by that, I don't know. I would have to get into the original language in the Hebraic or the Greek. The Greek. I would really have to study that. But even then, those are not the original languages. There was a time before Hebrew. There was a time before Greece. So, I'm just being honest. It's not so much playing the 50 for real. It's just I'm just being honest about the evidence.
I see my man Vic is just cooking in the comments. Hopefully Vic comes up, you know what I'm saying? Come on up, Vic. If you can, come on up. The link is pinned in the chat. You know what it is, bro. And not only that, hold on, he got the StreamYard. He got the StreamYard direct connect. You know what I'm talking about. He can come up anytime. But yeah, I think listen. I do understand your thesis on the military possibly guarding something that is more valuable than what's here on this earth, right? And we know they have different places set up like that. Out here, somewhere in the West Coast, somewhere in Nevada, I think is Area 51. They kind of got that, mapped out. He said he's going to come up and explain shortly. Okay, we here for it. We got the whole Area 51 mapped out. So yes, there are places and locations on the earth that the military is guarding with high esteem and with high guard, right? And maybe for correct reasons, right? Or maybe they don't want us coming in and disturbing something, right? You know what I mean? Maybe they done made a truce or something like that or whatever, right? And now they don't want us to disturb whatever they have made an agreement upon with someone or something that it won't allow us to come into. You know what I mean? Because when we get, when we go into stuff, we mess stuff up. You know what I'm saying? We kind of want to explore and kind of figure out what it is. So maybe it could be that they may have a truce with that of a higher power or higher regime that we cannot cross over and basically interrupt what's going on. So yeah.
I'll say this. There's places right now, right, where federal employees go to work and they have to be transported to work and they're not allowed to see out the window. They're just not allowed. They're allowed to be transported from a location and then they go to another location. However, they never see how they got to the other location. And it is confidential, meaning that their clearance isn't high enough to know what's outside the window, but it's clear that's high enough for them to work in the building. This is what I'm saying. There's more mystery here on our soil than it is in Antarctica. But Antarctica, it's more popular, stuff like that. It's ice. Everybody is like, oh my God, look at that. But no, I ain't knocking the flat earthers or whatever. They can continue, celebrating Earth being flat. Honestly, if they think Earth is flat and or whatever, great for them. If they feel like they're gonna fall off the side, I just suggest that you don't go near the side. But I'm not gonna let that deter my psychological development. Like, not at all.
Lola, you sound like you saying a lot. You saying a lot and a little at the same time. But I'm reading what you're saying. I'm picking up down. You know what I mean? She said the windows is blacked out and you can't even see what they showing you outside the windows. Looking back, Big Rig. You know what I'm saying? So, hold on. That's just insane. Right? Number one, it's insane that you even said that and you know that. I'm not even going to dig deeper in it. I want to dig deep on how you know this because you put it out there, but I don't know if I can even ask you that.
No. Just understand. Just understand. I only know that because there was some information shared about government clearance, and obviously the people speaking couldn't tell us more than the fact that they wasn't allowed to see out of the windows, but they went ahead to go to work every day, and be transported for maybe up to an hour to their work location, which may have been underground. However, they didn't get there underground. They were above ground. However they were transported from their meeting place to their workplace, they didn't have clearance to look out the window. So my thing is, whatever is happening in this country out of those windows is more important than what's happening in Antarctica. I assure you that. So, and we're talking about some pretty high-ranking, high-clearance federal employees here. So, and everybody seems to think, for instance, the president has a really high clearance. No, that is not true. The president's clearance is, there's so many people that have higher clearances than the president. People don't even understand that. But, you know, like, I think most people know the president is on a need-to-know basis when it comes to certain things that we are talking about. You know, but, I mean, I can't talk too much. Not on that. And like I said, I'm keeping a level.
I swear they're gonna kidnap Lola one day. I'm telling you. She's gonna kidnap her.
No, they not. No, they not. They ain't gonna kidnap me. I don't listen to them.
Oh my God. Big Rick, welcome back, man. Anything you want to share, brother? I know you got cut off, but what's good?
Yeah, well shit, on that note, you feel me? Out there in Livermore, bro. Livermore Labs is out in Livermore. They got an underground train that goes from Livermore to Los Angeles, and it's kind of on some secret shit. Cause it's actually kind of like a, I don't want to say nuclear lab, but kind of nuclear lab, and the Altamont is right there where all the windmills are and shit, and they got a lot of shit out there in them the little hills and mountain area, bro. It's just pretty crazy. I used to work at a warehouse right there in Livermore Labs. It's like right up the street. And, you know, there's a lot of tech things going on over there and a lot of just shit that's under wraps around there. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty wild. But what I was getting to on before I got cut off is just kind of taking it back. I gotta agree with what Smitty was saying on a lot of things are supposed to be a mystery, bro. We don't need to know everything, and I think that man takes it upon himself to push that envelope, and I think it also pushes a lot of lies, bro, because they want to be the first or be, you know, whatever, to, you know, break the story or whatnot, or find something supposedly groundbreaking, you know what I'm saying? And I just think that if it was supposed to be known and everything like that, it would kind of be more in sight than somebody always trying to push the envelope, because we haven't been to the bottom of the ocean, bro. I really don't know how far, you know, outer space they went, going back into that too, because my honest opinion, bro, just looking at a lot of the loopholes, I don't think we hit the moon, pimp. I think that whole thing was kind of fake from what they show, bro.
What?
They show a lot of shit in there, man. Maybe you can have a stream on it and I can kind of, you know, get more information and shit. But I used to really look into that, and, you know, they got the flag waving out there, bro. They got a lot of fucked up shit in those recordings of that moon landing, and they only did that because of the Soviets, bro. And the thing is the Soviets, there was a Soviet that they died up there, bro, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? One of the movies supposedly showed that when the U.S. got up there, they ran across, you know what I'm saying, that whatever you want to call it, little shuttle thing, bro. So, you know, they was trying to beat the Soviets in that situation to get to the moon. But I don't trust it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of goes back to the Smitty thing with, you know, a lot of things, bro. And I don't think it is to be fucking explored, man. I mean, it is what it is, bro. Like, if you believe in God, you know God created everything. So there's got to be a creator, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I can kind of dig that. Man wants to try to fucking find the answers to every fucking thing, bro. You know what I mean? So that kind of, when he said that, that kind of stuck with me a little bit because I could dig that.
I would say this real quick. Yeah, like, so just like how we know, right? So you can't get to, you don't know everything in the ocean. You're limited there. We're limited as far as space. Look this up behind me, brother. If I'm mistaken, I believe. Okay, so we have the biosphere. It's like where we are. Then you have the atmosphere. So that Red Bull, I saw that. I believe he was located in the stratosphere. That's the level right before space. So, but if we're limited when it comes to air and sea, I don't understand. Why do we think land is like exempt? Like, so, and even with the thing with like Antarctica, right? Like, I don't know. Some things to me, I believe, are also simple messages. Let's really think about it. Now, outside of the military thing, just in a natural sense, what do you need to go there for? What is there? Like, do you not realize you get to a point where you don't even really see polar bears and seals? They even have a limit. All right. It gets to a point where it's just nothing. Like, and so in my mind, okay, all right, physically, I would be like, you know what? It's cold here and uncomfortable. But the spiritual aspect of me, I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe this is just not where man is supposed to be. You know, most of us, we don't live in a desert, right? Some do. Most of us don't live in a desert. Most of us don't live like where it's super freezing cold. Most of us are somewhere where it's like a balance. So, I mean, I don't know. I just know that, you know, man is supposed to stay within the realms of boundaries. And when you transgress that, that's, you know, when you come across the obstacles, and that's when you start coming across a bunch of shit you ain't supposed to.
Okay. Man, y'all all are saying the same thing. That look, man, just leave this thing alone. Just leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the homie Marcus. What's going on? But Big Rick, you shared something about this whole Livermore thing, man. The train going from Livermore to LA. Is this really a real thing? I gotta ask, man. I gotta have me a moment. I gotta ask. Is that really a real thing?
As far as I know, it is a real thing. You could look up Livermore Labs. It's pretty highly guarded, bro. It's right there off of, like, you can hit it right off of Vasco Road out there, and I worked right there on North Greenfield, and a lot of Livermore Labs is scattered in there, and the reason why they have that train is because of the shit that they, you know, whatever's going on out there towards LA, you know, it's just faster and everything for them to get whatever they're doing lab wise, you know, to get it to Southern California. Because it's not no like small train or nothing. It's a pretty fast train, bro.
I would say I agree with them, simply for the fact of over there, I believe it's CERN. I believe it's CERN in Switzerland, where they're working on that hydro collider. Like, runs into like two, 3 countries, and it's huge. So they're trying to open up portals. Once again, man doing shit he don't have no business doing. So the people that work there, they actually do have a similar system. They do travel underground, and they are picked up from one remote location, and they travel underground. And the whole operation is miles underground.
Wow. That's incredible, yo. That's crazy. Man, got my brother Victor Freeze up here. Vic, what up, baby? What's good, man? I know you've been cooking in the comments. Go ahead and share your spiel, man. I'm here. Salute to you. Much love.
Yo, peace, peace. What's up to everybody on the panel? You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the brother Smitty kind of nailed it. He just gave you the layman's, you know, uh, perspective on the common sense version of why it don't make sense, even though it's biblically bound. Um, but the actual explanation via scripture I put in the chat, essentially supporting what the brother was saying. And I'm gonna read over a couple of these just to illuminate that point. Now, if you subscribe to the 1611 version of the King James Bible, it actually includes what are considered the Apocrypha, which are, I think they're 14, but perhaps 16, either or, missing books. And those were, removed later and created, what they call now the canon, which are the 66 books, which is the Old and the New Testament. However, there are many other books that are not even included in those, like the Book of Enoch and Book of Seth. And there's a bunch of other books that some acknowledge and some don't acknowledge. If you were just one of those curious people, but you don't have billionaire money to go take a vacation to Antarctica and, risk your life, if you just kind of wanted to get an idea and let your mind wander, you could read the Book of Enoch. You could actually find it online, probably like somewhere like a torrent site or something like that, and just download it and have your fill. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure YouTube has an audio book version of it, and it is very has a lot of imagery, and it puts a verbal description of some of the answers to those questions people tend to ask. Now, if you don't have any faith in anything biblical, then you're going to be left to wonder anyway, because even if the government knows, they're not going to share it with you. So at the end of the day, like they said, there's nothing new under the sun. That would include these questions that we ask. And in Second Ezra, was one of the prophets favored by God, and it tells the story of essentially him winning an opportunity to speak with the angel Uriel, which is an archangel, one of the highest angels that you can get. And basically, he's like, yo, like, you get to talk to the man next to the man. Well, what kind of questions? He said, hey, like, almost like you go to a genie or something like that. He said, hey, what? Ask anything. Get the answer to anything. And basically what he wanted to know was essentially how God worked, how the knowledge of the Most High, the things that we ask, the answers to the questions that no one knows. He asked all of those questions. So if you actually, that's what half of the stuff is I put in the chat here. It says, thy heart, this is 2nd Ezra 4, thy heart hath gone far in this world, and thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High. This is actually the angel Uriel speaking to Ezra after he started asking him these questions. Whereof, if thou canst declare me one, I will show thee the way that thou desirest to see, and I shall show thee from whence the wicked heart cometh. In other words, hey, if you can answer one of these questions, regardless of your intentions, I'll give you the answer. He says, and tell him, he said, all right, what you got? He said, then he said unto me, go thy way, weigh me the weight of fire, and measure the blast of wind, or call me again a day that has already passed. And he said to me, if I should ask you, I had to shorten it up so it's hard to read. How goeth dwellings are in the How many dwellings are in the midst of the sea? How many springs are in the beginning of the deep, aka the ocean? Or how many springs are above the firmament? Or which are the outgoings of paradise? A lot of these words that they're using, meant more when they wrote them than our understanding of them now. Heaven and sky can be used interchangeably. That's why he's using the word sky eyes. So essentially, when they're speaking in Genesis about the creation of the firmament and the separation of the waters and when to go above and when to go below, I mean, all of this is high level stuff. So what the angel essentially said to Ezra, in the way that the conversation wrapped up, to summarize, is, hey, listen, man, you don't even understand what's going on with you. You don't understand the world that you're in. You don't understand the shit that you have access to. What business of it yours with things that are above you? And at some point, then Ezra humbled himself and said, well, hell, just tell me how I can live and get into heaven. How about that? Just tell me that, because I'm here for my people. I kind of got carried away with my questions, and I'm really here for my people. So let me just get back to the script of what I came for. I'm sorry I got a little distracted. And that's how the conversation went. And then you can go refer back to fear God, keep the commandments, because as it says here, I'm going to close it with this. And when the world shall begin to vanish away, shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall all see together. In other words, when it's all said and done, we all gonna find out at the same time. And you can waste your life trying to figure out this, but it ain't meant for you to figure out. When it's time, it'll be too late. God gonna show you. Ain't nobody else gonna dig their way to answers. And that's all I got.
Came in here mad smooth. Vic came in here real smooth with that one. He came in here real smooth with that one. I like how he did that. You know what I mean? Salute to my sister Kimberly KMA. What's going on? She said, I'm still trying to eat the knowledge, wisdom, and spiritual food from my NIV Bible. I'm not trying to go there just yet. This one is way above my pay grade. I'm just a poor kid from Africa. No, sister, look, you gotta dig deep. The Lord wants you to dig deep and your understanding, wisdom, and knowledge, all right? So dig deep. Don't be afraid. Come on in.
Sure thing. Don't be afraid to dig into your Bible. Like I tell people all the time, the jewels that you are supposed to receive from whatever book you're reading, you will get it. The issue comes when you want someone else to accept the wisdom that you were supposed to get, as opposed to the wisdom they were supposed to get from their reading of it. And my thing is, I support either way. Like I'm not on the religious train, nor am I opposed to it. But truth be told, that's the issue. People that bring religion in, bring it in an extreme that kind of delegitimizes the issue as well. But you know how I am.
Okay. We got Queen Forever 2K up here. Queen, what's going on? Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, I see you, Queen. What's going on? Welcome back.
Hey, Queen.
Hold on, Queen. Before I get into you, Miss Oshun now. So does that mean that we have converted you to Christianity? All right. Have you come to? You know what I'm saying? You've been agreeing with Smitty all night. You agree with Vic. All right. Are you not Christian now? I don't want to hear no excuses no more. All right. We gave you the facts. Smitty takes a drink from his goblet. You know what I'm saying? He done laid down the game for you. Are you now Christian now? I don't want to hear no because you've been agreeing all night. You know what I'm saying?
No. I am not. I don't conform to religion. That's not what I do. I respect each religion, but I don't conform to it. I understand why others may do that, and it's totally fine. But no, I am not conformative to any religion. Mm-mm.
You know the Greek definition for the word religion?
I know what several people have defined it as. However, I'm okay with the definitions. I'm okay with that. I'll take whatever that is. However, for me, I'd rather learn what I need to learn from all of them than to sit and take one of them over the other. I can't bring myself to do it. Mm-mm.
Rock out.
Wow, okay, that was a quick exchange. Queen, what do you think about? I know you've been listening, so what you been thinking about what we've been building on?
I haven't been listening, actually.
Oh,
Sorry.
Lord. Okay, so we are talking about the flat Earth theory. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And is that real or not? We cover like Antarctica. Could that be the firmament that's surrounding the Earth that's kind of making it? The Earth is circular and the firmament is Antarctica, South Pole, North Pole, and is that covering the entire Earth, the continents, and everything else? So that's where we are. So what do you think about like the Earth being flat or the flat Earth theory? Vic, he shared some biblical points. Smitty shared some biblical points. I don't know where Lola is at this point. I think she's a Christian. I think she's not a Christian. No, I mean, I think she watched Christian and wrestling. I'm joking with her. But yeah, Big Rick shit told me that it's a train in Livermore that go from Livermore to LA. I found out a whole bunch of something that I ain't know. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Queen. What's going on? Talk to us.
I don't know. I don't really care if the Earth's round or flat. Who's gonna find out? You gonna go search it out and figure it out? If you ain't got no pictures, I don't care. So everybody got a theory on something, I guess it keeps people busy. People are just bored. So sometimes
They got so much money and
hold
time.
on.
Now everybody talk at once now. Go ahead, Vic. What you gonna say?
I thought Queen had some more. Nah, as far as the flat Earth theory go, now this is what confuses me. If before the invention of the airplane and before anyone decided they were going to make a trip around the world, there are planes capable of in-air refueling and that make trips around the world daily. I'm not gonna tell you about them, but they exist. And at the end of the day, even with satellite, the whole idea that you can get on a plane and go in one direction and end up back where you started. If by theory, if the Earth was flat, either you would fly off because there's no logical sense unless you were taking a circular path for you to end up where you started. And then you would it would be relative to where you started. But it doesn't make scientific. I feel like that theory was created out of thin air to explain certain things, but it's the fact that they have these satellite images which are supposed to be doctored, which are, in my opinion, doctored, but it's kind of like one of those things where it's like a redacted document. Those satellite images, in my opinion, I don't know for a fact, I didn't put them there myself, but I think that those are real images that have been doctored to the point where you're not supposed to see certain things, or the true ratio or aspect of certain things, or certain parts have been removed. But that, I think the real question is, like you say, what is below the Earth? What is below the ocean? Everybody trying to go outer space and all of that. But those things that are inside, I think, are going to be more pertinent and critical to the near future that we may live to see, long before what's in outer space or wherever else that they're looking for. And it wouldn't take much more than technology for us to be able to access those things. And I agree with Lola that you may be asking a question that you don't want the answer to, opening up, Pandora's box for that matter.
We always asking questions we don't want the answer to because they're not going to give you the answer. And if you find out, you're going to come up missing. So just drink your water and mind your business.
No. I'm talking about like the government and those agencies and entities that are rarely spoken about, who are actually doing the looking, who actually put the armed guards out to say you can't come in here. I think even what they digging for is above their pay grade, and they're gonna find what they're not looking for.
It's above everybody's pay grade. Because if they find something, they better keep their mouth shut, or they're gonna be the what is it, Nessie, the Loch Ness monster. They're gonna become a fairy tale.
Well, I was intrigued why that project that they launched in the early 90s, sending that probe out into interstellar space with our information on it. I thought that was interesting because my first thought was, who do you think is going to read that? And do you really want them coming here? I didn't understand that. I said, first of all, we're not even a Category 1 civilization. So, if somebody is actually having the capability of traveling across this Milky Way, and they want to find their way here, do you think they're doing that just to say hi? I don't understand the government sometimes, but at the end of the day, they got money to spend, so I guess they spend it. But all I'm saying is I've never been in favor of the government spending money on sending out probes and signals to say to whatever is out there, hey, we're here. Don't get me wrong. I understand we feel like we're lonely children and we just want to know where we come from. I get that. But you don't want everybody showing up at your door if there is everybody out there, because we are really not prepared to deal with that. And that's just like some basic emergency management that the government could, take a little bit of a chill pill with. But, it is what it is.
Okay.
That kind of leads me to a question, though. So, do we really think that Earth is the only place that has like living people? Like, is there probably some other type of living beings out there on a different planet? Do we believe that?
According to the government, they don't know. Right now, they just had a meeting to let the public know that they will be spending quite a lot of money to find out what these UAPs are, and they've made it clear it's not the U.S. government, and they don't suspect that it's any other allied or non-allied country flying within our airspace that we can't seem to have any control over. And so they're studying whatever this is that's in our airspace that is flying around and seems to be piloted by intelligent beings or beings. We don't know. The government doesn't know. But I've been telling people the government don't know what's really going on. And even if they did, they don't have the power to control it. So that's why they wouldn't tell you anything. But right now, it's getting to the point where they can't play the we don't know game anymore, because they tried that like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Now they're at this point, and it's like everybody wants to know exactly what they're doing with this money in terms of studying, because this is the first time in human history that this is happening. So
Lola, I'm asking you personally, do you think that there's other beings out there in another planet?
Oh, definitely is. And I don't think they're out there on another planet. I know that there's other beings that have mastered things that we can't really understand right now. They're not on another